If you are a photographer, have you ever been asked, what type of photographer are you? Well, photography has been my passion for more than 50 years, but I've never placed myself in a certain category. I never had to before. I typically photograph whatever interests me. But after looking through a list of photography styles, I've learned that I can best relate to the ones that I'm going to talk to you about today. However, I don't and I won't place myself in a box. Having said that, let me tell you about my top 5 photography styles, the ones that evoke emotions and feelings for me when we return. Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for stopping in to iJoe58 Media, and I'm Joe. If this is your first time stopping by, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. If you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to my channel and turning on that notification bell so that you won't miss any of my uploads. Let's get started. My top 5 photographic styles, in no particular order, of course. First up is fine art photography. Fine art photography, to me, is created by a photographer who is photographing as a means to bring his ideas, his concept, his message to life. And he wants to do that by way of imagery. He could also be trying to evoke emotions in his viewer. Fine art photography is also known as photographic art or artistic photography. The term fine art photography has no universal agreed meaning or definition. It's created in accordance with the creative vision of the cameraman to fulfill his vision and his vision only. However, it may convey a specific feeling to the viewer, maybe somewhat different than the artist himself. Fine art photography images are often framed and displayed as art on walls, such as those in galleries, and just like paintings. Sometimes fine art photography overlaps with other genres of photography, such as photojournalism and fashion photography. Fine art photography became popular during the Victorian era, and it has evolved and continues to evolve to this day. One of the famous photographers, Ansel Adams, he's considered an exemplar of fine art landscape photography. With his stunning black and white photography, he captured a lot of our national parks in his imagery. I must say, fine art is one of my favorites. Next up on the list is urban exploration photography. Some people call it exploration, but others call it Urbex. Urbex photography is nothing more than photography that focuses on capturing images of abandoned and dilapidated places. Often these locations require photographers to trespass on private property, and that brings into question the legality of the images that they capture and the types of shots that they get. But this is where a lens with the right focal length comes into play. The photographer that's capturing these types of images need a wide range of camera gear and different techniques to help them get the image that they're looking for. And that depends on the location as well. Now, if they're shooting in night, they need to be aware of the ambient light and have certain type of filters that will help them along the way, especially when they're entering these abandoned buildings. Third up on my list is street photography. We all do it. The art of capturing a scene in a public place, particularly on the street, is called street photography. Many of these types of photography or photographs are also considered to be candid in nature because they're usually unstaged and shot spontaneously. Now, depending on the country that you're in, there are certain laws that you have to abide by. And you have to take those into consideration when taking your photographs of people in public. Now, being aware of these laws is a given. Now, it's very important because of broader use. Fourth on my list is candid photography. Now, candid photography is a type of photography that removes the posing aspect of the equation, with photographers taking shots of people in motion, spontaneously, or by surprise. The photographer typically aims to capture his subject in a natural state without needing to direct them to pose one way or the other. This does not necessarily mean that the subject doesn't know and is not aware that the photograph is being taken. And in these particular situations, consent is still important, and it's an important part of being able to use these photos in commercial settings. Now, secret photography is considered a subset of candid photography, and it occurs when subjects are totally unaware of their being photographed. And last and fifth on my list is cityscape photography. Cityscape photography is the urban counterpart of landscape photography. Cityscape photography captures images of city skylines or sections of the metropolis. These images can be taken during the day or at night, and they usually feature large sections of the city. Now, sometimes a wide-angle lens is more preferable, and it is needed if you want to achieve the shots that you want to get of a wide angle of the city. But telephoto lens can come in handy as well as capturing the smaller areas of the city. And there you have it. I hope this was helpful to you. What style of photographer are you? Thanks for dropping by iJoe58. Next time, I'll bring you the lesser 5 of my top 10. Or maybe be the lesser 5. This was my top 5. So I'll just bring you the next 5. Because there's so many out there. See you later.